In part 2, Alanna came out as Alan to Coram, and the two are heading towards the capital of Tortal. 4 days later, they rode into Chorus just after dawn. They were part of the stream of people entering the capital for the market day. Coram guided his horse through the crowds, while Alanna tried to keep Chubby close behind him and still see everything. Never in her life had she encountered so many people. She saw merchants, slaves, priests, nobles. She could tell the Bazir, desert tribemen, by their heavy white burnouses, just as she spotted seamen by their braided pigtails. She was lucky that Chubby was inclined to stay near Coram's gelding, or she would have been lost in a second. The marketplace itself was almost more than a girl from a mountain castle could take. Alanna blinked her eyes at the bright colors, piles of oranges and yellow fruits, hangings of bright blue and green, ropes of gold and silver chains. Some people were staring as openly as she was. Others shoved their goods under people's noses, shouting for them to buy. Women in tight dresses eyed men from the doorways, and children ran underfoot, sneaking their hands into pockets and purses. Coram missed nothing. "Keep your eye on your saddlebags," he called back to Alanna. "There are some here as would steal their own mother's teeth." He seemed to be directing the comment at a tall young man standing near Alanna. The lean young man grinned, white teeth flashing in his tanned face. "Who, me?" he asked innocently. Coram snorted and kicked his horse onward. The man winked one bright hazel eye at Alanna and vanished into the crowd. She watched him until someone shouted for her to watch herself. She wondered if he really was a thief. He seemed very nice. They left the marketplace, taking the market way up a long, sloping hill. This led them through districts where rich merchants lived, up past the villas of even richer nobles. The crossing of Market Way and Harmony Way marked the beginning of the Temple district. Here the Market Way changed its name, becoming the Palace Way. Coram straightened his saddle. After his years of soldiering, this was like coming home. Alanna saw countless temples as they rode through the district. She had heard that 100 gods were worshipped in Chorus. There were enough temples for that many, she thought. She even saw a troop of women dressed in armor, the guard of the temple of the Great Mother Goddess. These women were armed with great double-headed axes, and they knew how to use them. Their duty was to keep men from ever setting foot on ground sacred to the Great Mother. Alanna grinned. Someday she would wear armor too, but she wouldn't be confined to temple grounds. The ground suddenly rose steeply. The temple district ended here. Above them, crowning the hill, was the royal palace. Alanna looked at it and gasped. Ahead of her was the city gate, carved with thousands of figures and trimmed with gold. Through this gate in the palace wall, kings and queens came down to the city on holy days. Through this gate the people went to see their rulers on great audience days. The gate was as high as the wall it pierced, a wall lined with soldiers dressed in the royal gold and red. Behind the wall, level after level of buildings and towers rose up to the palace itself. The area had its own gardens, wells, stables, barracks, and menagerie. Outside the wall, on the other side, lay the royal forest. All these things Alanna knew from her father's books and maps, but the reality took her breath away, as a paragraph written in a book never could. Coram led the way to the courtyard beside the stables. Here servants awaited the arrival of guests to show them to their rooms, to guide the arrival servants, and to take charge of the horses. One such servant approached them. Coram dismounted. "I'm Coram Smithison, of Fief Trebond. I've come with Master Alan of Trebond to begin his services at court." The hostler bowed. A royal page rated some respect, but not the respect a full-grown noble would get. "I'll be taking the horses, sir," he said, his voice thick with the accent of the city. "Timon," he called. A slender young man in royal livery hurried up. "Aye, Stephen?" "One for his grace. I'll see to the bags." "You'll show his grace the proper respect," Coram growled in her ear. "A wizard with a sword he is, and a better leader you'll never meet." Alanna rubbed her nose anxiously. What if something went wrong? What if the Duke guessed? She glanced at Coram. The man was sweating. Alanna gritted her teeth and thrust her chin forward stubbornly. She would see this through.